This man will be coaching in the Pro Bowl games this weekend, in which he is undefeated as a coach in the Pro Bowl games. Ladies and gentlemen, two-time Super Bowl champion, Eli Manning.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Hey, do you see the entire Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Justin Tucker situation? And I assume this has been happening for as long as the NFL has been taking place with like pre-game type situations. Have you ever had anything like this with a kicker or a punter before? This seemed abnormal as I was watching along at home. And thank you for joining us, Eli.
It's a little bit abnormal with the kicker, quarterback. It's like, the quarterback's dropping right there. You can move the helmet, move the balls. Like Tucker's just stretching. Like you don't need your helmet and balls sitting right there where a quarterback's dropping back. So, I think it's just a little pregame playoff toughness deal. I think it's all fun. I think it's been blown up into a much bigger ordeal. But there's always been some pregame. Hey, this is our side. This is where we warm up. You should be on the other side. You're in our space. I mean, that happens pretty regularly.
Yeah, I think so. Since the beginning of competition, there's been those types of things. But
usually the punter is like always in the way. You're always punting in our way.
I want to let you know, Eli, not us. Okay, we are very hospitable to the quarter. We're the only other quarterback on the team. Okay. Peyton takes a snap first 3 downs. He doesn't get the job done. I got the snap on the 4th down.
Bingo.
I'm on your side. I'm 4th down quarterback out here.
You are.
But I did say this on Monday that it's normally just a quick conversation like, hey, what do you need? What do you need? Like, we need like these 10 yards. Got it. And then as punter kicker to Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to go ahead and get the hell out of here. But Justin Tucker, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, that's 3 goats in one situation. Yep. That's beautiful internet. That's why it blows up so quickly. Just like everything you guys do on that Monday Night Manning cast. Another successful year, it feels like. It feels like this year was another phenomenal season for you guys. Did you enjoy that? And what was your thoughts on the NFL season as a whole?
Yeah, I think the Monday Night Football went well. We did 11 games. We had one game. We had 2 games at the same time. So we're growing. We're raising our skill level of calling 2 games. It's like 2 dragons. And speaking of, 2 dragons, had Will Ferrell on, had Arnold Schwarzenegger. He had his pet donkey on the show. So it was entertaining. It was fun. I think the whole football season, we had a bunch of great games. Peyton didn't have to call any timeouts and start sweating and have like veins popping out of his head too often. So nice and smooth. But I think the playoffs have been fun. A couple of great games this past weekend, and looking for set up for a great showdown for the Super Bowl.
Obviously, Manning football involves play action and throwing the ball, and kind of an old school mindset. I feel like you both are, and I assume Archie is the same way down in Texas, like old school football players. Feels like even though you guys are the Mannings, you've always been relatable and you always have respected the game. Feels like where NFL football has gone and where it is now is almost back in time. Feels like there's a much more physical style of football. The smaller, quicker defenses are seemingly getting exposed this particular year. Do you think that's going to continue? And how do you think that bodes for the NFL as we go forward?
I think the game is very healthy. I think the quarterbacks are playing great football, and it's a match and mix of, hey, guys are pocket quarterbacks. Hey, these guys can scramble, they can run. Some of them are doing both. Some are smaller guys, and some are, Josh Allen's and 6'6" and 255 pounds. So there's not, hey, this is the quarterback. This is what you have to look like. This is the abilities you have to have. Everybody's doing it different ways. You have teams that are, not expected to make the playoffs, and they're making the playoffs. You have, Detroit Lions making a great run and making the flip from a few years ago. So I think the game is healthy. It's fun. It's entertaining, and that's why every year fans are always excited, saying, "Hey, this is the year. This is the year we can make a run. We can make it to the Super Bowl. We can make it to the playoffs." And you never know what's happened, and that's what keeps the game exciting because of free agency, because of the changes and the shifts and the scheduling, where everybody's got a chance to make something happen. I mean, the Texans were a great story. Went in a playoff game with a rookie quarterback. No one expected much from them, and so. It's fun and hey, now this weekend we got the Pro Bowl. Peyton begged me to coach. I'm like, no, I'm undefeated. I like having the 1-0 undefeated record, but he would not stop calling me and texting me and leaving me 18 minute voice memos. Why I should coach.
Yep.
So I finally had to do it. So we got the skills show tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on ESPN and ABC, and then we got the flag football game on Sunday at 3 p.m. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I appreciate this year that you ran a couple of his voice memos, because I've been on the receiving end of a few of those voice memos, and you have no idea where it's headed. You look at the time too. They'll give you a time on how long this message is, and it's like the internet. I see a video that has like a long number on. I'm like, I'm not signing up for that. I am not signing up for that. I cannot do that. So when it's a voice memo though, and it's in your phone, in your hand, and it's coming from him, and you see the number, it's like, do I have 3.5 minutes? I guess I do, but like, where is this thing gonna go? It's phenomenal that he is that diligent with those voice memos. Honestly,
I wish there were 3.5 minutes. When I look at one and I see 18 minutes, I usually text back. I'm like, hey, send me a cliff notes of the voice memo that you just left me in another voice memo that's shorter. I don't have 18 minutes to sit here and listen to you talk.
Hey, your brother's a wild animal, man. He is. He's so diligent with everything. Everything. The amount of and obviously it's inspirational to watch, and every time I get to see him do anything, I'm trying to learn from how he's operating and doing it. We had a golf trip in the South where you golf phenomenally. And then as soon as we got to a place where it was possible, I watched him fire off 50 emails to people, 50 emails to people. And I'm like, those people did not have an expectation at all that Peyton Manning was going to respond to whatever that email was. And he does. He's going to be like that forever? Is that just who he is,
That's just forever. He should have been a wedding planner. That's like his really what his skill sets are. I mean, he would need to be a planner. You should get Wes Welker. I can't wait to see Wes Welker. He's the offensive coordinator for the Pro Bowl for the AFC this week. And I wonder how many voice memos, how many times they've changed the playbook. I'm sure Wes is like, Peyton's like, hey, Wes, you call the plays in the game. You call it, but I want you to call these 20 plays first. But yeah, you call it, you handle it. You're the coordinator.
Your show.
The first time we're in the red zone, we're definitely run this play, then this play, and he's gonna be micromanaging the heck out of them the whole game.
Okay, so how's it go for you? Who's your offensive coordinator? And I saw you guys. I was there last year. You guys were taking it. Well, You guys were taking it very serious, trying to learn the rules, obviously, trying to actually have an advantage and put on a good show. It felt like you guys were trying. You were very invested. I assume it's the same this year.
Very invested, but I think I was all for. I said I need to hire an offensive coordinator. It was very stressful for me last year. The NFL is used to, in the Pro Bowl, an NFL team, kind of its staff comes to be the coaches, and you have your receivers coaches, and you have a playbook that you can just, hey, let's just make this a little smaller, a little easier. Your day one install, we can put in this. Like the NFL, called me 2 weeks before the game. They're like, hey, send over your playbook and we'll print it out. I'm like, I don't have a playbook. What kind of playbook? You think I have?
What are the rules?
Just create a playbook for me. I'm drawing it up on paper. Here's my playbook. Here are 30 plays that I just made up. I don't even know what the rules of the game are. What's going on? And so it was a little chaotic. So this year I've handed over the reins to Keenan McCardell, is my offensive coordinator. I'm like, Keenan, you run it. I'll be the head coach. I'll just kind of talk trash to Peyton. I'll be, handling the players. I don't want to think about calling any plays. This is your show.
It got tight at the end of last year's flag football. You saw everybody really tighten up. I think, how do you feel about the whole Pro Bowl games? There's obviously mixed emotions on it. Some of the games were not a smashing success, I think, for a lot of football people. But at least keeping, I think, players interested in the Pro Bowl is a big deal. I think that's a big deal going forward. And I think that's another thing that, your brother and you have always wanted to hold in high. The Pro Bowl means something. It matters. It should always matter, too, I think, is what everybody feels like, especially you and your brother.
Yeah, definitely. It was always an honor to get elected into the Pro Bowl and to make the Pro Bowl and to go there. Go on a trip, bring your family, bring your friends, hang out, meet the other players. And get to practice with them, ride in buses with them, sit in the pool and, drink a cold beer with them. All those are great experiences. And so, it's the same. And I think the game had gotten so bad, the NFL, they were thinking about getting rid of this thing. It's we might have to get rid of it, but people watch it. People are still tuning in, but everybody was writing negative things about it. So we said, we got we got to do something. So we got to flag football. I think the game was outstanding last year. You get to see the greatest athletes and Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb and DK Metcalf make plays. Quarterbacks throwing it to them. Defenders are making interceptions. So you just say, no one wants to get hurt. These guys are making so much money. They can't afford to get hurt. Teams don't want to get their players to get hurt. So let's just eliminate, those chances, make it flag, and still have fun. Get guys smiling. Get the helmets off. Let them, take some pictures. And then do some fun games. We got the precision passing. I got Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith. We got dodgeball Thursday night. I mean, I want to see Jahmyr Gibbs, throw a dodgeball. I want to see Bobby Wagner and Micah Parsons throw a dodgeball 1,000 miles an hour at somebody and hit them in the head. And even though you can't hit them in the head, you'll get tossed out yourself. It's still worth it. Maybe they just let one kind of veer off to the sideline and hit Peyton in the head. If they hit Peyton in the head, they get a reward.
Okay, especially from Coach Eli. It sounds like a little bit of a bounty situation. Happening in a Pro Bowl game.
I didn't say that word.
I think it'll continue to evolve, though. Which I think, what it was last year, what it is this year, I think it'll continue to evolve because all parties, okay, I think fans, players, NFL, networks, all parties would like to see the Pro Bowl continue and to matter because anytime you talk legacies, that's one of the first things you talk about, obviously. And the legacy isn't just, the Pro Bowls. This is the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That stopped the handsome one.
That's right.
Numerous times. Go ahead, Con, man.
Yeah, Eli, right now there is this thing going on the internet, and there's the GOAT debate between Mahomes and Brady that's happening currently, and then there's also the comparison to the Patriots dynasty that the Chiefs dynasty is now currently on. And since the wild card round, the internet has been clamoring that today's NFL needs their Eli Manning to stop Patrick Mahomes. This is a real thing that has happened for these last couple weeks, actually. I believe there was a Baker clip that was kind of like a montage saying he's the next one, and then there was a Jared Goff one as well. Obviously, those guys aren't left in it, but who do you think today could be the Eli Manning that could kind of be the, GOAT slayer, if you will, as resident Giants fan Bruce Brown refers to you? And, what do you think it takes to have that kind of, not mentality, or sure, mentality and, preparation to go into a game against someone who's considered or is being, called the GOAT and not have it be too tall of a task going into the game?
Well, hey, I mean, it's there right in front of you. It's set up. It's got to be Brock Purdy. It's a guy from the NFC. The guy, he's last pick in the draft. I wasn't that, but it's, he's in a Super Bowl. He's chill. He's cool under pressure. He's been down in playoff games, and all he does is just go on fire in the fourth quarter and make outstanding plays and big time throws. And so it's set up for him. And it's it's all a fun debate because the Chiefs, these last 6 years they've been almost unbeatable, and in the playoffs they've been so good, and they get into Super Bowls, and so it's a fair comparison to start mentioning Patrick Mahomes and the Brady and the Kansas City and the Patriots kind of in that same world and the same ability to get to the Super Bowls and win them. And so it'll be interesting if San Francisco, if they can pull it off.
I heard you say a couple qualities there that Brock might have, aside from being in the NFC. I don't think he made that selection. Somebody else did for him. But you said cool, comfortable. Are those some of the traits that you think you have? And is that why in those big moments you were able to kind of play your best ball and stuff?
Yeah, go ahead. I think so. I think the moment's not too big for him. It's not going to be oh my God, I'm in a Super Bowl, I'm nervous or I'm going to try to do more. It's just, hey, let the moments come to you. I'm going to, you never want to say it's just another football game because that's so cliche and it's not, but you kind of want to have that feeling of, hey, I'm going to go play my game. I'm going to trust my teammates. I'm going to, throw it to Kittle. I'm going to hand it off. I'm going to wear my cowboy boots and my, whitewashed jeans and let's go win a football game. Let's go.
The past weekend, too, he walked in looking exactly like you. I mean, he
right.
came in dressed straight out of a Manning model magazine.
Yep.
You know, with the quarters. I think he even had a quarter zip.
Had a quarter zip.
Had a quarter zip on. I mean,
we send it to all the quarterbacks in the playoffs. He's the only one that wore it, though.
So, to answer that question, feels like Brock is.
Yeah, the guy.
Feels like Brock is.
Brock's the guy.
What
Brock's the guy.
How about Brock, though? And the boys are going to have, obviously, more questions, and we can't thank you enough for your time here, Eli, as you're in deep preparation for the Pro Bowl game.
Getting ready.
Look at that. That is the Manning.
There it is.
I mean, khakis probably instead, but that is the Manning fit pretty much, isn't it?
That is it. That's a nice quarter zip. I like his style. I'm going to have to look for that one.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the same one.
You're
Wearing
just
it right now.
Yeah, they're all the same, but you got the blue one,
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue one is, you guys are wearing it. How do you feel about the Brock Purdy kind of reaction? Now, you said you weren't the last pick of the draft. We all remember your draft situation, and from the family that you came through and in, like, you've had eyes and had to deal with different stuff throughout your entire life than anybody else as well. It's not just easy, that entire road. But being the last pick of the draft, we all know this that have been in the building, that dude's afforded nothing. Like, you make a couple bad throws in training camp, like, see you. We need another corner as opposed to another quarterback. Like, everything he has had to get through to get to this point since arriving in the NFL, and then how quickly he was able to pick up the offense and slice and dice. He's in his second year, back-to-back NFC championships, last pick of the draft. And obviously this year, and we've talked about it, and I'm kind of tired of talking about it because he's in the Super Bowl. I mean, unbelievable. He's gotten killed by people. Killed by people. Is there, from a quarterback standpoint, what do you think of his play? And I don't want you to judge like society, but do you think there's going to come a time where this guy is everybody's hero from what he's been able to accomplish? Because he already is kind of for most of us that have watched what he has kind of done so quickly.
Yeah, well, I think what he's been able to overcome, and like you said, being the last pick in the NFL draft, going to the team, no one's expecting you to make the team. No one's expecting you to play that year. And all he does is just get in there, work hard, learn the system, step in and start winning football games and, taking over that leadership role of the team. And everybody, kind of believed in him that he was going to make the plays and do what he had to do. And so that's not easy. That's a lot of pressure thrown on you all of a sudden. And like, he didn't drop one bead of sweat. Like, he just went right through it and he did his job and, had the injury, came back this year, has done the same thing. And I think just that mindset and everything he's had to kind of overcome is he's kept that same mentality. It's like, hey, I'm just, I'm a seventh round quarterback and I'm just going to go out here and play a football game, throw it to the guys that are open. He sits in the pocket, gets drilled,
Huge
he runs
shots.
around, makes guys miss. Yeah, right in a full face shot, like a guy right in your face and just throwing a 20-yard over route, right, a perfect throw to his receiver. So, I mean, those are big time throws. That's toughness. He ran a few times, had some big scrambles. So, it's just like, hey, whatever they ask me to do, I'll do it. I'm going to be coachable, and I'm not going to get a big attitude. I'm not going to change my mentality and just go out there and get the job done. So it's been impressive, and I think, hey, every quarterback's going to have a bad game, and he had a few bad games early on, and that's what I look for. How do you respond to a couple tough weeks? You throw a bunch of interceptions versus Baltimore. Hey, but you fire back, you come back the next week, keep your head up, and you keep throwing it, and it never affected his play, and that just shows he's mentally tough.
I think that Baltimore game was the only game that a lot of people potentially watched Brock play.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
I think that was potentially. I'm not saying everybody, because obviously the NFL's ratings are what they are, and San Francisco has a lot of primetime games. But Christmas Day, all eyes were on that game with how he played. I think that immediately created the narrative. Last pick of the draft, this is how he played in the biggest moment. This guy stinks going forward. And it's like all he's done is show up. We're massive fans. Speaking of him, there is a little added element to it all. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Yeah, well, this been Brock's first Super Bowl, and I think Patrick's fourth now. How much different was it for you going into your second one, being that you already dealt with all the hoopla and everything outside of football, the media obligations leading up to the big game? How much does that help you going into your second one?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot just because you know kind of what to expect, what the week will look like. And obviously this week you're at home, you're in your own facility, you're getting your preparation done. And this is kind of the week where you want to get all that work done, get everything handled for next week also, your ticket requests, who's coming to the game, your hotels, just everything that. And because once you get to the Super Bowl site and they're going to be, in Las Vegas, everything's different that week. You're not in your own facility. You're staying in a hotel. You're taking a bus to practice. Everything's just a little bit off, where you got to really work hard this week at preparing to try to keep things as normal as possible. If you get a massage every Wednesday, you got to set that up and create that. And who's going to do that? If you go to dinner or you eat a certain meal, this is the things you've been doing the last 24 weeks of the season, and now it's all thrown off a little bit because you're in a new city and a new place. You got to work at trying to kind of create those things so it doesn't feel any different. You're going in, your same routine, and you're prepared and you're ready to go play.
Yeah, it's quite an added benefit for the young players, if you've been there or not been there. Like they talk about championship pedigree. It's also how you handle yourself in the games. Like this Kansas City Chiefs team just feels mature. Even though they got a new group, it feels mature, but so is this Niners team. Coming off what they had happen to them last year in the NFC Championship, I cannot wait to watch the game. Last question before we let you go, Eli, and we appreciate your time.
Yeah, Eli, yesterday we asked Tom Brady about Gerard Mayo being the new Patriots head coach, and I feel in a similar situation. You got Antonio Pierce being the Raiders head coach, your teammate for, I think, a handful of years. How do you feel about him being the head coach there? And I think Coughlin's going to be one of his advisors. How do you feel about that working out?
Yeah, I'm excited for Antonio and thought he did a great job this year when he took over as the intern head coach. And, he's one of the smartest players I ever played with the Giants. Just that middle linebacker. We talked all the time just about, he was kind of the first person that I remember who would flip-flop a blitz. If we had a will-free safety and he saw, he would know, when I was changing a play versus changing a protection. And, if he's like, hey, if I know when you're changing the protection, you make this call, and I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to bring Sam strong safety. And so we're going to be hot or we're going to get blitz. And he did that in that first Super Bowl to Tom Brady a ton of times. And it takes a lot of communication and smart and kind of knowing the difference between this is a protection change and this is a change of the play, or this is a max protection, and kind of when to do it, when not to do it. And it made it hard, going against him in practice and doing those things. He was, asking questions, always wanted to learn more. He was listening to everything linemen said, quarterback said. So he's going to be well prepared. He's going to coach up his guys hard. He's going to be a player coach because he's been there, he's done it. So I'm excited for him and that opportunity.
You're going to go over there, BOC, because they got Coughlin there.
Mm-hmm.
Got Antonio Pierce there. Yep. Hey, good golf in Vegas.
Yeah.
Great. Good golf in Vegas. You can go out there.
I'm good right here. I'm coaching some third grade basketball, some fifth grade girls basketball. That's all I'm doing now.
And coaching
the Pro Bowl, baby. The Pro Bowl. Yeah, there you go. That's the only thing. I'm head coach of the Pro Bowl. We got the skills tomorrow night.
What time, Eli? What time? What time, Eli? What time? Where are we at? ESPN. What time?
ESPN 7:00 tomorrow. ESPN and ABC 3 p.m. on Sunday.
Hey, absolutely nailed it.
Go!
How's the golf game doing? Have you played? Have we?
I haven't played. We got to go play. Let's go.
All right, man.